Hello, my name is Robert Dean Steele, and this is your daily Bible class. Listen to what it says in Revelation, and this is to the church of Philadelphia. It says to the church at Philadelphia, write, "These are the words of him who is holy and true, who holds the key of David, and what he opens no one can shut, and what he shuts no man can open. I know your deeds. See, I place before you an open door that no one can shut. I know that you have little strength, yet you have kept my word and have not denied my name. I will make those who are in the synagogue of Satan, who claim to be Jews though they are not, they are liars. I will make them come and fall down at your feet and acknowledge that I love you. Since you have kept my commands and have endured patiently, I will also keep fruit from the hour that is going to come upon the whole earth to test the inhabitants of the earth. I am coming soon. Hold on to that which you have, and let no one take your crown. To the one who overcomes, I will make them a pillar in the temple of my God, and never again will they leave it. And I will write on them the name of my God, the city of my God, a new Jerusalem which is coming down out of heaven from God. And I will also write on them a new name. Whoever has an ear, let them hear what the Spirit is saying to the church." Now, the first thing that Jesus says, he says, "These are the words of him who is holy and true, who holds the keys of David." The one thing that you can know beyond a shadow of a doubt is the Lord is holy and true. That means he's separated from sin and separated from all evil. And whatever he says is true. It also says here, he holds the key of David. That means that the promises of David, which were given to David, have been passed to him, and Jesus is the key of making sure that all comes out. Now listen to what he says here. He says, when he opens something, no one can shut it, and what he shuts, no man can open. Only Jesus Christ has the power to open and close doors. What he's saying is when God opens a door, you walk through it. When he shuts the door, you don't try to open the door. You just simply say, "Yes, Lord, your will be done." And that's how we need to approach life. We need to say, "Lord, your will be done, your kingdom established." He says, I know your deeds. I know what's going on in your life and situation. You may try to hide things from me, but I know your deeds. I know what you do when you're all alone. I know what you do when no one else sees. I know what's in your heart. I know your motives. I know your faithfulness. I know your obedience. He says, I see that you have little strength. You've been overwhelmed by all the things that have been going on. He says, but I want you to know there are two things that you have done. He says, you have kept my word and have not denied my name. What a great testimony. First of all, being able to keep the word of the Lord. You know, even though they have little strength, they still have enough strength to keep the word. They are the ones that God has entrusted with the word, and they have answered, and they have come through, and they are victorious. What a wonderful, wonderful promise. Then it goes on to say this. He says, you've not denied my name. Obviously, there had been some people who had denied his name. But in this case, they had not denied his name. And so, because of that, they were acknowledged. Then he says, and I will make those who are the synagogue of Satan, who claim to be Jews, though they are not, they are liars. He says, listen to this. Those who are standing in opposition to you, those who think that they're so spiritual, so wonderful, they have denied the gospel. He says, they are liars. Don't listen to them. There's lots of people out there who claim to have the truth. And even some of them say, you know what? We have Jesus Christ. But the Jesus Christ that they have is not the Jesus Christ of the Bible. He says, and what's going to happen, he says, is one day they're going to come and fall at your feet and acknowledge that I love you. What a great day that's going to be. Maybe that day will be very soon. Maybe you're in conflict with someone. Maybe you are talking with someone, and that person right now is not believing what you believe. They may believe a lie. But one day, they're going to acknowledge, either in this life or in the next, they're going to acknowledge that Jesus Christ is Lord of all, and that, he loved us. That's a great thing. He says, since you have kept my command and have endured patiently. What a great testimony again. Here they are. They have kept the command of the Lord. They have endured. They've understood that the gospel is not a quick start. It's not the 100-yard dash. It is an endurance race. And we need to be there from the beginning to the end. And everything in between. You might say that it's kind of like a pace. You pace your life. You say, okay, I'm going to follow the Lord this way, this day. And God's going to lead me this way another day. But the point is that you have stayed with it. He says, out of that, he says, I will keep you from the hour of trial that's about to come on the earth to test the inhabitants of the earth. There is God's protection. Now, there are trials coming on the earth, and there are things going to happen around the world that are going to absolutely, mind-boggling to some of them. But he says this, he says, I'm going to keep you from that. That's God's provision. That's God's protection. That's God's keeping. Wonderful, wonderful to know. He says, all these things are coming to test the inhabitants of the earth. There is something coming, and we're going to find out later what that something is. He says, know this, I am coming soon. That's a very important thing for us to know. He is coming soon. He says, in that way, let no one take your crown. Don't let anyone take what you have from you. He says, to the one who overcomes, this is the promise. He says, I will make you a pillar in the temple of my God, and never again will you leave it. And he says, I will also... Now think about that just a moment. You are going to be a pillar. You are going to be someone who the Lord has trusted, and the Lord is going to reward you with that. And he says, you'll never leave it. He says, and I will write on you the name of my God. And he says, and the city of my God, which is the New Jerusalem, which is coming out of heaven right now. We know that one day the New Jerusalem will come down. It will descend. It is a city of 1,500 miles by 1,500 miles by 1,500 miles. It's called the City Four Square. And he says, you're going to have a name, a new name, that name that only you know. And also you'll have the name of the city of our God. Isn't that a great thing? You're going to be an inhabitant of that brand new city. He says, now listen, he says, I'm writing all these things, and I will write on them a new name. God's going to give you a brand new name. I don't know what your name is right now. My name is Robert Dean Steele right now, but who knows what my new name is going to be. But it's going to be a wonderful name, a name that is appropriate to my situation, and also God's going to give you a brand new name that's to your situation. Then he closes off by saying, let everyone hear what the Spirit is saying. The Spirit is saying something to you today. He's saying things such as, you know what? The Lord's going to open all kinds of doors for you. He says, even when you have strength, realize this, keep his word and don't deny his name. And those enemies right now that you have, those slanderers, those scorners, those mockers, one day they're going to come before your feet acknowledging that Jesus loves them. And you know what? He says, we must endure patiently because God's going to keep us from the hour of temptation. But understand this, he is coming soon. So hold on to that which is good and let no one take what you have. You know what? You can be an overcomer. And when you are an overcomer, there's all kinds of promises. Like, for example, you'll be a pillar in the temple of our God. You'll have a new name, both the city of Jerusalem and of God. And he says, this wonderful name is given to all who overcome. So today, be an overcomer. My name is Robert Dean Steele. This is your daily Bible class. You have yourself a great and